So I'm here with Gayatri Saldivar, a longtime Practice Better customer. She is also a functional medicine dietitian in sunny California. Gayatri loves inspiring clients to achieve optimal health, and she integrates the latest science in nutritional genomics, functional medicine, and GI nutrition in her practice. So since 2020, Gayatri trained under the mentorship and guidance of Dr. Dan Kalish via the Kalish Institute. So hundreds of clients today are happier and healthier after working with Gayatri to resolve their brain fog, fatigue, anxiety, and GI symptoms. I actually met Gayatri back in 2017 when we were creating a coaching program for a wellness company, also based in California, and we chose to use Practice Better as our platform to launch this new coaching program to the public. We were both introduced to Practice Better at the same time and learned just how robust the platform was through that experience. Subsequently, went on to use Practice Better in our own health and nutrition practices. And I'm really excited to catch up with Gayatri and share more about her journey over the last 5+ years. Gayatri, thank you for speaking with me today.
Thank you, Shelly. I'm really excited to be here.
Awesome. All right. So our community can get to know you better. Can you tell us more about you, your background, and your practice?
Yeah. So I started my private practice right out of my grad program. I was really lucky in that I had a program that focused on business entrepreneurship. So they had us create a website. Lucky, I used that website with the packages to get started right away as soon as I got my credential. I literally had my first client, but I didn't really stop there. I immediately went into the IFNA program. That's the Integrative and Functional Nutrition Academy. And they really gave me the tools and resources that I could just get started as a functional medicine dietitian right away. That was monumental, and I just didn't stop. I just kept growing and building and expanding my knowledge, and wherever I could get my hands on additional functional training, I would. I dabbled in some genomic medicine training. I did the LEAP diet training certification, some gastrointestinal nutrition certification trainings. But my most monumental mentorship was with Dr. Dan Kalish of the Kalish Institute, because he really transformed my practice. At the time that I started his training, the pandemic happened. It was pretty insane for so many of us, and my practice literally flattened out. Like, I had a few clients, I was just getting started, and those few clients, I had a few packages going. The packages were ending. I really didn't know how to carry a client long term or what to do after those packages ended. And since the pandemic was going on, it just felt like, oh, it's time to end. Some of my clients were actually coming in person, and I just really didn't know what to say at that time either to continue on the relationship. So I, pursued additional training with Dr. Dan Kalish. And when I did that, even just months later, I was able to turn things around with more of a long-term plan. And mainly because he gave me the structure that I needed to create this long-term relationship. How do you take a client from their first 3 months to their second 3 months to their third and on, and then continue to work with them ongoing? So he really taught me those valuable tools.
Yeah. So I'm really curious about the Kalish method. Like, what resonated with you about the method, and how do you use it to help your clients improve their health?
Great question. So Dr. Dan Kalish's focus is on that gut hormone liver connection that he calls the 3-body system approach. I took it the next step to really call it the gut hormone liver connections. I built out a program with that, and I'll talk more about that later. But this focus on this 3-body systems, the GI, the stress hormones, and the liver detox really allows us to get at the root, at the foundation of almost every condition. And that is essential when you're working with so many clients that are complaining of brain fog, fatigue, anxiety, sleep issues, and GI issues. We need to figure out what the common thread is. And these are the common foundations. And certainly there's additional labs, but these are the ones that we're going to get significant improvements right away. And because of that, it gives us the framework. Now we have the structure. We can provide protocols for several different months along the way and carry them not just in this 2-month blip or 3-month segment, but a whole year. And that's why it's so fascinating. So we use the labs. We use stress hormones. We use GI labs, comprehensive stool analysis. And I use the ion test. I was fortunate to get trained on the ion test. It's now a little difficult to get that test. So the NutrEval is the next best available thing from Genova Diagnostics.
And what does that stand for, the ION?
The ION is individualized optimal nutrition. So it's a really
Okay.
comprehensive micronutrient test in organic acids. It looks at amino acids and fatty acids and neurotransmitters and liver detox markers and heavy metals. So it's pretty comprehensive, and we get a good thorough plan and we get a good assessment of what's happening in that person's health. So it gives us that comprehensive plan.
So after you and I were using Practice Better to launch this like corporate program for this company, how did you get started on Practice Better in your own practice?
Yeah, so I initially, that very first client I had, when we were emailing back and forth, and I said, okay, this isn't going to work right away. I knew this right away. I need to have something that's HIPAA compliant. I had already done some investigation on a health record when I was in my grad program. So I initially started out with that one, but word was getting around really fast that there was a better one. And even you and I had talked about that. There's a better one. Let's use Practice Better. As soon as I switched over, I was just amazed at all the many more automations that I had and functionality, and I felt like it just looked better. And so overall, it was just better for me. Even though I didn't actually use all of the features right off the bat, it took me some time. I think mainly because of the learning curve and trying to think about all the things with the private practice and what do I need to do. And initially I started out with a different Calendly link, and I was collecting payments through PayPal. And then it was like,
even back in 2017, there weren't that many features yet compared to how many there are now. So,
right. And I think at some point, maybe 6 months to a year down the line of using Practice Better, I said, you know what? I'm going to correct this. I'm going to make everything flow through the health record, make it more comprehensive in that sense and more automated. And so now, everything goes through Practice Better.
So how would you describe that experience early on? And have there been like specific updates or new features that have impacted the way that you use the platform?
100%. I would say that the best updates for me have been the added programs feature. When I started, that certainly wasn't there. And I use that. And then also the automatic payment plans. I think when I started my program, I started off, that's when the payment plan became available. And I started off with that, and I thought, this is really great. This is the missing link for us getting more consistent income.
And just being more efficient with not needing to manually send out invoices every month.
Yes, I love that too.
Yeah, I know you do a lot of discovery calls. Can you talk a little bit about how you're doing those through Practice Better? Is that linked to your website?
Yeah, so most of my clients find me through Google. I don't really get a whole lot of traction from social media to begin with. So Google is my main outlet for marketing. Blogs to attract through Google. SEO is a major one. And because of that, people will land on my website, and when they'll either land on the website or the Google business profile, and the link to follow through would be the Practice Better book a discovery call. And that's everywhere throughout the website. So clients are able to automatically book their own call and get right into my calendar. They do fill out a little assessment form really to see if we're a good fit, so that I can make sure that
you get that before the call, so you can review it. And then maybe if they're not a good fit, if you can tell right away, maybe you can refer them to somebody else, or do you just take every call?
100%. No, that's a great point. If I know, oh, this is an eating disorder person, I am not an eating disorder expert. I know someone is, I'm just going to let them know, hey, I think that you might be better off contacting this person, or maybe I can maybe if I know them, I can also say, hey, I have a potential client for you, and hook that up for sure. That's a good way. But sometimes we're just not a good match for what they're looking for. If they don't want to really put that investment in a long-term relationship with functional medicine and their health, I can tell right off the bat that they're looking for just a one session. We might not be the best fit.
Yeah. And you're such a good networker. So I'm sure you have a lot of different experts and practitioners that you can refer clients to if you need to.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like our network is so big, and there are a lot of practitioners that refer to me, and I'm always looking to return that favor as well.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm curious about how you've used Practice Better over the years to create and launch some of your signature packages and programs.
Yeah, so the year before last and a good deal of last year, I spent quite a bit of time with my team building out a signature program. Really, it's the lifestyle and diet education modules that complement all the functional lab testing for the Kalish method. So everything that's foundational that I found myself repeating over and over again, various different diet aspects, various different stress reduction aspects, or the gut-brain connection, the microbiome and the leaky gut connection, and maybe we're talking about liver detox, supporting detox and what that actually means, and vagal nerve toning, you name it, everything that is related to these labs and what is repeatable over and over again, that lifestyle component that somebody really needs to focus on in order to get well, to complement their their lab-based supplement protocols. So this program, the Gut Hormone Detox Root Cause Master Program, my signature program, was created really to complement that. And I started out with a pilot group for a few months with brick and mortar, no slides, just figuring out what topics were helpful. And then we converted it from there and built it out. And it was a back and forth with my team for many months, making sure that it was thorough. It was what I wanted.
Yeah. If you ran it with a beta group as a fixed date program, you can easily just duplicate it into an evergreen program if you want to just offer it for people to start at any time. So I know you've run it both as an evergreen and a fixed date.
That's exactly how we started out. And then we expanded and made it even better. We turned something that was 3 months into something that's 5 months now. Yeah. So now it's 5 months. And
oh, wow.
I'm working on actually being able to offer it to others who are looking for programs as a way to jumpstart their practice.
Wow. Yeah, I know so many practitioners would love some content from an expert like you, and then they can personalize it and brand it to make it their own. Can you just walk us through a little bit what it's like to create and run a program with Practice Better's program features?
Yeah, so we created our videos through YouTube. We created slides. We created scripts, handouts. And then when we put it into Practice Better, we made little dividers, made it things that were labeled so they knew where to go inside each module. What I love about Practice Better too is that I can pull the link for each module. I like to use this as a resource library as well. So let's say I have a new client, we're working on a package, we have some lifestyle sessions. I like to be able to click that link, share it with them, and review this before our next session. We're going to talk about this. And it ends up being so much more fluid for our sessions, because then we can really focus on their goals, what they would like to do with this information. Before we had this program, we focused the session on the education. So it was very one-directional. And now it's a bi-direction, conversation instead of just that education piece. So I love the fact that I can dole out the education part separately ahead of time, and we can go in any order. It doesn't have to be, so each unique client has their own needs, and they don't all want to, maybe they are an expert in nutrition already, but they want to get to that stress reduction component and the vagal nerve toning parts. We can skip right to that.
Awesome. So as we look at your own business, how has Practice Better helped you to attract new clients?
So I use the link on my website, and clients will fill out that little application. They'll let me know what their issues are, and we're able to discuss that and see if they're a good match for my practice. And I do share that in different places as well. So maybe sometimes I happen to be in a Facebook group, and somebody is asking that question. It's a really powerful way to say, hey, I have an option to jump on a call, and we can talk about it.
Yeah. And then what are some ways that you're using the platform to not only grow your practice, but also retain the clients that you're already working with, keep them engaged, so that when you come out with new programs or courses or just offerings, you still have those people that already know and trust you and have worked with you that might need a different service or just want to continue to work with you?
Yeah, so having those packages built out in Practice Better is really helpful. I think one of the biggest things to tackle is before having a call, knowing what this person wants and making sure I have that package already ready to go, ready to offer them, built out into Practice Better. I think once I started that mindset, things really started to shift for me, because then I knew where I was going to direct them. I knew I was going to give them this package. Payments were already automated through this. I could send them documents, session notes. I have that already, the system already ready inside Practice Better, which I think really helps. I think it takes a long time to get there, but it does. And I would say take from my initial session note, for example, has been worked and reworked probably 100 or more times. And if you calculate all the hours that have gone into it, it was like, it's weeks and weeks of revamping something. So I think that it's being able to provide that quality to clients visually. They can see it in their own notes, in their resources. It keeps them on track. I think that is what helps clients stay on track and helps me grow. And I love the seamless nature of Practice Better.
Yeah, you just jumped in and not worried about everything being perfect from the beginning. So you just started using different features. And like you said, you just keep making it better and better. And I know how detailed and robust you are with all of your intakes and note taking. It's just great. Some people, they just want everything to be perfect before they launch something. And I know with you, you've just said, okay, it's going to be really good. It may not be perfect, but I want to get it out there. And so that's been great to watch as your business has evolved. So as we wrap up, can you share more about any new projects or initiatives that you're going to be launching soon in your business?
Yes. So I am launching a new, never done before mentorship called the Functional Clinic Immersion Mentorship. It's going to begin in early 2023. And think of this as the rotation that you never received in your dietetic internship. This is meant to be for dietitians who could be working in a clinical setting, really trying to jump out and break into private practice in the functional nutrition setting, or they could be for dietitians that are already trained in functional nutrition and just need that missing link of the practicum part. So there are small group Q&A sessions. I let dietitians come into my health record on the back end. So secrets, you get to use all of my session notes, my package designs, my white label.
Learn Practice Better while they're in your mentorship, basically.
Yes, they'll get my program, my signature program. They'll have access to my tools and resources. Not only that, they will listen to my consults and learn that process from taking a client from that very beginning stage of that initial, what I call a root cause analysis, learning how to assess in a more comprehensive way, and then taking the client on the journey from initial to long-term client. And then in that process, they'll learn the art of selling packages, reselling packages, the things that I was myself wondering how to do. So this is like really taking my mentorship to the next step. I definitely appreciate all the lab-based interpretation support that I've gotten from Dr. Dan Kalish, and I'm certainly going to help mentees in that way as well. But this is the next step of the actual practical part of things that I think everyone is really craving.
Oh my gosh, that is so exciting. Wow. So you mentioned they would get your signature group program already built out in Practice Better. Is that something they can take and add their own branding and logo and maybe even just personalize it a little bit?
100%. We have white labeled this so that my branding has been taken off. They can do it in their own colors. I do have videos that they can use or not use. Those videos they are in my branding, but of course that could be just their example of how it's done, or they're starting out videos. Like you said earlier, things aren't always perfect right at the beginning. And so it's a process. So when you start out on something, sometimes you start out on the beta version and then refine from there.
So cool. I did want to ask you a little bit more because IFNA is one of our partners, and I actually went through some of the IFNA training. I just wanted you to share a little bit more about what you're doing with IFNA, because you're a mentor for the students, right? Correct?
Yes, absolutely. So students can choose a mentor if they desire that they want to add that for the Integrative and Functional Nutrition Certified Practitioner credential. That's the IFNCP. But I know that there are many other types of students with IFNA as well. So other students that are not doing the IFNCP might have that built into their curriculum that they need to pursue mentorships. That if they are in that program, they can choose me as a mentor as well.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. This has been amazing. It was so great to catch up with you. And thanks for sharing all that with our audience. And can you let us know where our audience can learn more about you?
Yeah, so I have a website, 23 Nutrition Therapy. That's the best way to get a hold of me. My phone number is right at the top. My email is everywhere. And yeah, we can, if you really want to talk to me, I'm happy to talk to you, and you can get a hold of me that way. I also have Facebook and Instagram, 23 Nutrition Therapy as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We appreciate it, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.